Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, one of the owners here at EWR Digital.
Hi, my name is Matt Bertram. I am your SEO specialist today.
So you're the SEO specialist today.
YouTube specialist.
There you go. Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our podcast. This time we're broadcasting live from Houston and an undisclosed place where Matt is. That screen behind him is not green screen. It's beautiful, wooded. It looks awesome. I'm a little bit envious here. We do have our awards behind us, our AMA awards. They're beautiful. Please remember that Matt and I, we are your results rebels. And I do have a review. I wanted to jump into this. It is, of course, 5 stars. And it is from Urban Wanderer. It says, wish I would have discovered this sooner. I've yet to experience a better SEO podcast than this, and there are so many out there. The best of them all, without a doubt, is this one. So patif to you, Urban Wanderer. We appreciate you. We put a lot of hard work into these, go through a lot of articles to come up with what to share. And you know what we're going to share today is 9 tips for your YouTube SEO strategy. So you're looking for tips in improving your YouTube SEO strategy. We're going to have those in just a short minute. Is there anything else we really want to cover? Like we kind of skipped covering some of the stuff. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to ask for a review. I've actually checked this link. This link does work. Go to ewrdigital.com/G+. It's super easy. I know it's outdated, but that will get you to a place where you can leave us a review. And please go ahead and leave us a review that is 5 stars. It is hard to syncopate when you're like in different locations. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Matt, or should we just like jump right into this content?
No, I'm excited. I think this is a great article about YouTube SEO. So
very, very cool. So this is from Sofia Enamorado, which means enamored, which is kind of a very cool name. Patif to you. Ask a couple questions. How do you avoid getting lost in the sea of videos? Your best bet is to produce and publish great videos and then optimize them for search using SEO best practices. So this really goes back to what we say all the time. As long as you're focused and delivering value to the Google user, whether that's Google search engine user or Google YouTube user, then you're actually going to, Google's going to look favorably upon you. And one of the things that we'll end up stressing in this, and she wanted to bring this up right away, is having a full, accurate transcript is very valuable for YouTube SEO, and we will talk about that here soon. One of the things that I want to do, I went and pulled some different stats than she had. There are 2 billion unique views a month on Google, 2 billion. In terms of audience of people between the ages of 18 and 49, there are more YouTube has more of an audience than all of the TV networks combined. Like that's pretty massive. The average user spends about 11 minutes and 50 seconds per day, and they visit about 6.7 pages. So we're going to talk about like how do you get them to visit you? How do you get them to visit longer? And a lot of that has to do like, what are you doing from an SEO perspective? Matt, how much time do you spend on YouTube daily, do you think?
Well, so it really depends what I'm doing on YouTube. So YouTube Music is something that I use a lot of. And then also in the mornings, I've started to listen to I think it's like motivational channels or something like that. And it smushes together all the best motivational speeches from, I guess, graduation and other things. And I've been really listening to a lot of it. I listen to podcasts with video on YouTube. So I definitely spend more than 11 minutes for sure.
I think I may too. Although I tend to just kill a little bit of time. I'll scroll through on Facebook. I'll scroll through videos. Now I know some of those are actually on YouTube. And then sometimes you find them on Facebook and then it can be hard to find them later. So I end up and go look for them on YouTube. And then we both have kids. So YouTube is a valuable tool, not just for growing your business, but for helping you manage children.
Babysitter.
Yes, it's very good at that. So YouTube SEO involves optimizing your channel, playlists, metadata, description, and the videos themselves. You can optimize your video for search both within and outside of YouTube. It's one of the things we'll talk about today is don't just focus on the fact that your optimization effort is going to have you do a better job when when people are searching inside of YouTube. You want to make sure that when they're searching, I don't know, say in something like Google, that you show up well. Talked about,
Well, I was just going to throw in a pro tip for everybody that's listening and is waiting for some good stuff. If you're trying to get links indexed, putting them in the description of YouTube is one of the fastest ways to get links indexed. And so if that's something that you don't need a service or anything for that, YouTube gets crawled daily. And so, that's a pro tip for sure. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense, YouTube being owned by Google. And if there's new links that are available in YouTube, Google wants to make that available on their search engine as quickly as possible. And one of the points that they make, this goes back to content, there's no way a video can go viral if Google can't understand what it's about. And think about what I just described unintentionally is I may see a video on Facebook that I like and I want to share with my wife or something. And then I end up, because Facebook is a little bit harder to navigate or search through, I end up going to Google first because it's the first thing that pops up on a phone, and doing a search there. And so you've got to have the right keyword phrases that if somebody saw your video somewhere else and they wanted to find it again, they've actually got to be able to find it, in a search engine. It's obvious that text associated with videos, it's the title, it's the description. But remember, closed captions and transcripts can positively impact user experience, engagement, watch time, viewership, and then of course it can impact SEO. So don't just think of having a good transcript as being part of, oh, well, this is just what makes it visible to Google. Remember, sometimes, and I think she jumps into this, sometimes you could be at a doctor's office and you could be watching a video, and if there's closed captions, you can continue to watch the video. If there are no closed captions, then because you need the sound, you can't watch it.
I mean, I know people watch videos at work. that happens, and so closed captions is really important. I don't know why we don't have closed captions on right now. I know it's available. So, we got to.
You can
do it.
So let's jump in. I feel like maybe you're speeding things up here. Again, we're covering 9 tips for your YouTube SEO strategy. Tip number 1 is lose YouTube's ASR captions and add accurate closed captions. So YouTube's auto captions are only 70% accurate. I don't know where that number came from. I'm not sure that's true.
I think they're pretty accurate because in Google, like Google Hangouts, now there's closed captions in Google Hangouts. And it's creepy that they're definitely recording everything that's being done, which I think that they were before, but now it's more open.
Well, they're recording and transcribing, so it's searchable.
And then it emails it to you. Yeah, but it's accurate. I mean, the machine learning, they're training the algorithm, and just like Tesla cars get better and better every day, that uploads the information. Same things happen with Google. It's getting better and better. It might not have been good a couple years ago. I do agree with that. But it's pretty dang accurate right now on YouTube. And if you're looking for a cost-effective way, I think you should consider doing it versus not doing it for sure. So,
absolutely. So it's probably more accurate than 70%, but why mess with it? And I would imagine that the more technical the content you're covering, the more niche the content you're covering, the more likely it's going to mess it up, right? So if you really are in a technically driven industry, just to make sure you have it, have your have the actual closed captions available.
But if you talk at like a 6th grade level, like Chris and I, it gets it every time.
We really don't seem to have that much problem with the translation. Search engines can only crawl text. They can't watch your video. Your video transcript will be full of relevant keywords that indicate what your video is about so that Google can crawl your content and rank you accordingly. It gives you some examples. There are some offline do-it-yourself or automated closed captioning systems. I can tell you, we just go ahead and hire, outsource the closed captioning or really the transcribing of our podcast so we can get those transcriptions up there.
And really what you want to do too is not just post the transcriptions because again, it's about readability. It's about what's easiest for the user to consume. So, it's a splintering tactic. It's called splintering, I guess, where you break up the content into multiple different channels, like social media channels, and deliver it in different unique formats. But really taking the transcription and writing a blog from it is a best practice that I think everybody should follow and doesn't follow. And I think to a degree we're guilty of that as well, because it definitely helps for SEO much more than if you're just posting the transcription because of the H1s, H2s, and all those sort of things. So.
Yeah. I think that's very, very true. Closed captions are good for YouTube SEO, but they have other benefits too. Here are some of those benefits. Higher search rank. Captions on YouTube videos boost SEO. They gave an example. There's a lot of digital discovery networks did some studies, and they saw an increase in views by 13.48% in the first 2 weeks and 7.32% overall when they actually added that closed captioning. And one of the ways they just did this test, it's actually kind of interesting. They looked at videos. They did searches on YouTube for videos that didn't really have a title description or a title tag. I mean, a description tag or a title tag. And then they searched for phrases that were actually in the transcript. And lo and behold, they would actually show up, but only if the closed captions were uploaded, if the transcription was uploaded.
Yeah, no, we're talking about tags later in the article, right,
yeah.
Chris?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, like Google just now started, well, it was like, was it a year ago? I think it was like, maybe it was 2017 or last year sometime. I can't remember which, but basically Google started to be able to index videos and pull out the transcriptions on its own to know what the video is about, right? So the algorithm's still learning, but that was kind of a game changer. I think that's kind of when podcasting started taking off, right? So now it's showing up on Google. People are finding it. And so I think a lot of that's driven by, people are watching videos, but also Google now has the ability to index videos. And so that was a game changer for a lot of people that were producing content, in my opinion.
Well, and I don't. Do you think that the search engine is transcribing the video, or just YouTube's transcribing the video, even with its whatever she called it, the ASR captions, and then the search engine is scanning those?
That's probably something we could Google, but I think I think that Google, the universal algorithm, is able to read the transcriptions.
Like, I think transcription. I think that's true. Yeah.
Right. Like, and I don't know. I believe that Google and YouTube are two different platforms, and they still operate in silos. And really, like, the search engine for universal search is completely different than for YouTube, and I'm not sure how much they're coordinating, even though they're the two biggest search engines. If I was to guess, which I totally could be wrong, I would think that Google, like just regular Google universal search, is able to grab all videos, right? But YouTube's the biggest, collection of videos out there. So there could be some kind of API or something that's talking. But I think that those teams are pretty siloed. And so they learned how to index all videos because they want to, they want to capture everything. They're not just grabbing YouTube, because sometimes you see like Vimeo videos and, some other videos on there. They definitely weight it towards YouTube, but I don't know. I think that that's something you can Google. I'm not sure it makes a difference. Just knowing that they can pick up what's done in videos, however they get that information, is I think the key to that, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think that they're siloed also. I think it wouldn't be hard if Google decided to. I think what's the motivation to start parsing videos other than YouTube videos, because that's just going to mean some of them are going to show up over. So it just, at this point, they're probably keeping it simple and also favorable to their own videos. Sure. So the next advantage is better user experience and engagement. So closed captions are proven to increase user engagement, earning more likes, shares, and comments than videos without captions. Higher engagement in turn boosts video search ranking factors. We'll talk about that. Captioned videos earn 4%. So this is a study performed by YouTube. Captioned videos earned 4% more views than their uncaptioned brethren. So yeah, captions are absolutely good. And again, it goes down to if you're maybe watching a video at the office or you're watching it in the doctor's office, you have the option to watch it, whereas you don't. And it wouldn't surprise me if that. I mean, there's parts of me that are like, okay, 4%, that makes sense. Doctor's office and office. Uh-huh. And another part of me is like, maybe it's a lot more than that, because there's probably a lot more people watching videos at work than just the 4% of actual traffic.
4%. That's like reported, right?
All right. Web accessibility. Closed captions make your YouTube videos accessible to viewers who are deaf or hard of hearing. It also lets people watch your videos, again, noisy train, quiet library, with the sound muted. So that's good. All right. Number 2, this is 9 tips, your YouTube SEO strategy. Number 2 is add a transcript to video descriptions. A lot of this.
Oh my gosh, like, let's speed up. Like, it's like, I get it. You need closed caption. You need
hold on, because this is saying add transcript to the video description.
Yes.
So yes, add it to the transcript section, but also add it to the video description. I don't think we need to belabor the value of that. What are some interesting ways marketers are taking advantage of video transcripts? Like you said already, Matt, they're turning them into blogs, infographics, white papers, fact sheets, web copy, and summary. Make video transcripts your content marketing shortcut. And it's probably pretty good to just kind of ask yourself the question, are you good at kind of off the cuff putting together a video? And is that maybe a great way to start the content? Like, some people will just dictate into a recording device, and then that becomes the content. Well, just throw out the YouTube video and let that become the content.
Yeah, just start ugly.
Number 3, this is the third tip. Translate your video transcript and offer subtitles in multiple languages, right? That's pretty good. In fact, our transcriptionists could probably do 2 languages right away. 2 of the
Google does it, doesn't it? Google will transcribe it, and there's a plugin for WordPress that it will transcribe the whole website.
So I just know that Google Translate can really drop the ball and make things broken. So
but it's better than nothing.
It is definitely better than nothing. And this article was talking about, we actually have 80% of their views from YouTube coming from outside the United States. That's huge. And a lot of that is non-English. Translating caption is very important. It's a huge opportunity for growth. I see huge demand in non-English uploaders as well. Even more exciting, search engines will index your translated caption files and include your videos and search results in those languages. So as long as you've got the captions available in that language, they can watch your video, which is still in English. So you don't have to worry about like redoing your video, and they'll show it with the foreign language captions on it. So
I am actually messaging Ivan right now, because this is so good. Right?
Yeah. One additional task. That's really good. All right, number 4. Again, 9 tips for your YouTube SEO strategy. Write a keyword optimized title, description, and tags. Give us fellow SEOers, you kind of know that keywords and keyword phrases should correspond with, first, whatever describes your video accurately. And then second, the words and phrases that users would enter into a search engine that would to find content like yours. Right. And go ahead.
No, go finish.
Very much stressed. Right for humans, not robots, or you may get penalized. And that was really in the context of keyword stuffing. We know not to do that. And then they start talking about a couple keyword tools that you could use.
Yes, there definitely are, like keyword.io. There's, I think SEMrush or Ahrefs does it. But basically you can use a third-party tool to look up keywords like Google Keyword Planner for YouTube. But what I was going to say that I see the number one mistake that people make is they put tags about different topics. Like they need to stick to one core theme or concept because you confuse Google and you dilute the search results, right? So you need to stay focused on one theme. One of the things I also found is, for whatever reason, the number 7, everybody likes the number 7. So does the search engines. 7 tags is what I've found to be the optimal number when you're trying to rank things, but also keeping it on one topic because people are kind of all over the place. I think that goes for like Google My Business and everything else. Like you don't need to maximize everything. You need to have like a focused, concerted effort to try to, like, every video that we make now for YouTube and otherwise for clients, there's always a keyword focus, like in the video and what the video is about. The goal is to rank for one particular topic or keyword theme. And that needs to follow through in the tag, title, description, everything, right? So,
yeah. So you mentioned Google AdWords. That was one of the tools. Google Trends is kind of a neat tool to get a sense for what the right phrases are. If you're just going to throw out one video, you probably want to go long tail. If you want to go after some shorter tail keywords, you really want to have, as we've talked in this podcast regularly, and this applies to video, you want to have a multi-pronged, you want to have a strategy, right, that incorporates more complex ideas, simpler ideas that boil into more complex ideas, so that you can get the traction necessary to actually win at those shorter tail phrases that get a lot more searches. Once you've done your keyword research, you want to pick, you've picked your keywords, then you want to, I like this, incorporate them naturally into the following fields. The titles, so you can get
SEO, digital marketing, SEO.
So fit 100 characters, use compelling language. So in the title, remember, this is the thing that's going to show up in search engines. It's probably going to show up whether that search engine is YouTube or it's going to be, a Google search. We always talk about how important that title is from the perspective of that's the thing that's going to hopefully catch their attention. Spend a lot of time, get a good title, because that's the thing. They may not see anything else if you don't get the title right.
In all the copywriting books that I read, they spend 90% of their time getting the title right, testing the title, because if you can't get them in the door, you can't convince them of whatever it is you're trying to convince them. And so the title is the most important thing.
Next is meta description. It fits 5,000 characters. And so that is where you do want to paste your transcript, because those are words that Google's going to index and YouTube's going to index. Just know that meta description is truncated at about 166 characters. And this could have changed, by the way. This is this article is about a year old. But those could have changed some. I think Google's extended how much of the description is visible. Just be aware of that so that you can kind of complete the thought, the best thought or the most powerful thought, 1 with the title and then 2 with the first 166 or so characters of the meta description. And then tags, this fits about 120 characters. Their point is in this, I think their target was like makeup tutorial. Don't do makeup space tutorial. Actually do in quotes makeup tutorials, so that now that's one keyword phrase. You need to use the quotes in YouTube in order for that to be one particular phrase that you're or tag that you're letting YouTube know that you're going after. All right, number 5, say your target keyword in your video. This kind of like when you say it, it's like, well, that seems obvious. And I think you need to do it more consciously. And I've got a pro tip that I'll add at the end related to kind of stuff that you should put in your content. But your targeted keyword should appear in the title, description, and in your transcript. And it cannot be in your transcript unless you said it during the video. Make sure that you do it.
And you want to say it more towards the beginning.
Yeah.
More towards the beginning, because they do truncate the information. Like
here's the teaser. There's 2 things that you want to do more towards the beginning, and that is one of them. You want to say the keywords that you're targeting, and then there's another one that I will share with you here after we get through our 9 items.
Okay.
Number 6, use a compelling thumbnail. So how many times have you clicked a video based on the thumbnail, and then you get there and like, okay, that doesn't, the thought doesn't make sense. Like that thumbnail doesn't translate, at least to the first 10, 20 seconds of that video. It's really important. And one of the short and simple phrases, ideally you want an image that is a great visual representation of the target keyword that you're going after, right? That's kind of the summary. But know this, so YouTubers can choose which frame to display on their video. Usually YouTube will present you with 3 separate screenshots of the video. You can also select a different screenshot from a different moment, or upload your own image. And I've done this. I've had to jump through some hoops. I think you had to have a certain number of subscribers in order to open up this option. Choosing the right video image can make a drastic difference to your click-through ratio. Make sure it's high quality. Make sure it's actually kind of a high contrast image, not just one blur. 16:9 aspect ratio. And she says that facial close-ups work the best. And then note, that YouTube overlays the video duration in the lower corner of the thumbnail. Make sure that doesn't obstruct something important in the thumbnail that you're going to choose. Also, I didn't realize this. Go ahead.
No, I just see that a lot. People don't think about that when they're posting videos on any platform. So.
Keep in mind that Google uses image recognition to automatically filter out certain imagery, such as the YouTube logo. So if you put the YouTube logo in that thumbnail, that'll just get blurred out. And they've got ways to do that. And again, ideally, you want the image that is a great visual representation and an enticing visual representation of your target keyword.
Chris, I know we're talking about YouTube, but Facebook has started really, I guess, going after like rights. If people have like a song playing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
We'll just start pulling those videos, you know?
So one of our clients, actually a wedding venue, encountered that pretty early on. They had, I think a wedding photographer had done a video for a bride and groom, which, you know, does that really matter if the sound is copyrighted? You should do the right thing, but it doesn't really matter from an online presence because it's never going to be used online. When they uploaded it to their Facebook page, like it got blocked, like totally blocked. So that's and that was a while ago. So that's continuing to go. I see every now and then I see kind of Facebook alerts that say, hey, your video's been cleared from the music, from the perspective of is it content protected music. Yep. All right, number 7, use the video SEO embed. Now, this article was by 3Play Media. They have a video SEO embed tool, and so they're kind of plugging their tool. Happy for them to do that. Really what this is schema, right? What's the schema markup that you have when you're embedding the SEO, embedding your YouTube video into your page to make sure that it's good SEO. A reminder, optimize your video for Google. If you do well in Google, you can get 2 to 5 times more views than just optimizing it for YouTube. Number 8, focus on user engagement. And this, again, goes back to our classic focus on providing a good experience to the Google user, and Google will shine favorably upon you. Google cares most about how viewers respond to your content. Watch time. Here's what they're talking about. Watch time. Think about this. A 50% completion of a 10-minute video will rank higher than 100% completion of a 3-minute video. Think about watch term. That's one of the things that you want to drive. If your video describes how to do a do-it-yourself project, and this goes back to like, how do you engage people? And even in the beginning. So one, what she's about to describe, you actually should use as the thumbnail. And two, show the viewer the finished product at the beginning to spark their interest. You want to avoid having a long introduction without speaking. In fact, I would almost suggest that you get rid of all intro. Like the very first thing should be something exciting that's happening. I don't know if, Matt, do you remember when movies used to always start with credits? The movie didn't start like right away, and then the credits would roll first, and then the movie would start. And then they got away from that. So now, like, you're kind of engaged in the movie, and then come the credits, so that you don't, whatever, flip the channel, walk away, which is
no, they usually have like some of the major credits. They kind of play it into the movie in the beginning. Yeah. That's pretty common. I would say there's actually definitely some games that you can play with user engagement. It's funny that they kind of talk about it a little bit. Engagement is so important because Google wants to see how people are interacting with content. And I think that you really need to think about, when you launch a video, giving Google as much data as you can. Maybe in the first week, there's kind of this audition period where you want to get a bunch of people to like the video, comment, engage with it, right? Watch it. Watch it all the way through, watch it a few times, maybe 2 times, but basically, Google needs data to figure out where stuff falls, right? And that's the same thing with kind of the Google dance, is they want to see how it compares to other videos. So they move it around. And really what you want to do is, if you have the best content in the world, if Google has no data to compare it against, it's going to be very hard to match it against something. And so you just want to give it as best showing, and you want to give yourself the best showing. So like, getting a bunch of people to like and share it, or like announce. We're actually working on, when we go live, like right now, because we don't go live at the same time every week. So it's hard for people to kind of tune in. That's definitely something we need to work better at, but with our schedules, I'm not sure it's something that is really doable. We need to have kind of a notification system to let people know, hey, like an hour out or whatever, through text message, whatever, we're going to go live. And then, get a bunch of people to like and comment in the video. It's definitely going to rank higher because it has bigger following, more engagement. It's, of higher status than a video that doesn't. And that's, one of the factors that Google's definitely looking at. So,
yeah, absolutely. So next, like, this is important, session watch time. Now, this is different than just watching one video. So if you can get somebody to watch, 2 minutes of each of 5 videos, you're going to do better than if they watch like one 5-minute video on your website. And this is across your channel. So it's like, how valuable is your channel? What does Google think of your channel? So that's, did the viewer leave and the other thing to keep in mind is, if yours is the video after which everyone always leaves YouTube, right? So if there's something about your video that you convince people. So if you're always leaking to your content and it's such a compelling argument that people actually get off of YouTube, that you can pay a price for that, because Google would rather people be spending more time on YouTube than getting bounced off because of something that's happening in your video.
Yeah. No, one of the things that you said, you guys actually slowed down. It was actually quite cool. And at least on my end, it was like, watch time. Like a sound effect with it, which, it's super important, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And and a growing subscriber base. This goes right into exactly what you're saying. Well, two things: user intent, how to grow with 0 views and 0 subscribers. This is about getting engagement quickly because you're going to get more intention. And then the more you can amplify user experience and engagement in the first 7 days, the better, right? Because if it just lies there and does nothing for 7 days, Google's going to throw it in the graveyard, and reviving it is going to be hard to do. So. And then finally, tip number 9, except for the bonus one that I have. Tip number 9, it is use playlists. So relevant short 4 or 6 video playlists, subcategorized playlists, can greatly boost user experience. It also makes it easier to share multiple videos at the same time. It also makes it easy for them to watch kind of a thread of videos that are related in topic at one time, which goes back to that overall individual video watch time and overall watch time. So use those. Use
the cards. Yeah, I mean, use the playlist. It's super important to keep people to keep watching, and that's the name of the game, right? Keep them on YouTube.
And then I'm going to pull back, and this is one tip that came from Dan Golden. He's one of the few guys we've interviewed. He's a YouTube expert, and one of the things he talks about is if you use the word "you," and I think it was within the first 3 seconds of the video, the amount of the video that people watch was like 80% higher. And then if you used it twice in like the first 10 seconds, that 80, you added like an additional 5 or 10% to that, which is significant. So when you think about the intro of the video, you don't want to have like in our case, we wouldn't want to have a really long like EWR and hand write it out and make all this fancy stuff about EWR digital and then start the video. You actually want to jump in kind of to the meat of it. And you want to start with the word "you," and you want to get the keyword in pretty quickly. So you're interested in a great digital marketing strategy for your business. So I use you and both yours in the first sentence, in the first 10 seconds, and also use the keywords digital marketing strategy. So that's going to be the thing that you want to create in that first 1 to 2 sentences of your video.
So we should try starting the podcast with UU SEO.
UU SEO. You. We can do that. You SEO. You digital market.
And that would define stuffing in videos. Yes. Don't do that.
And we are doing a test. All right. Well, that's the article. Patif to Sofia Enamorado. 9 tips for your YouTube SEO strategy. Really good article there. Oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, she really embedded a lot of stuff. She does know YouTube. I mean, they created their own tool. I mean, they went pretty far in telling you some stuff. Like the algorithm is constantly changing. It doesn't change that much, but it always does change. The last thing that I remember when I was deep in the YouTube was that audition period usually starts on Thursdays. So there's a pro tip right there.
So does that mean post anytime before then, or just know that Thursday is the day where the audition starts, and so that's better to post on that day?
Yeah, I think it's better to post on Friday or Sunday night or Monday. But again, if you're trying to really maximize it, but like how many people do that? Like she's right, in the first 7 days, you really want to get the most engagement, and you want to really stay on top of like one video and push it as much as you can to get it to rank for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways to optimize what you're doing in anything, and you can shave a little bit of time here or there. Those things add up, right? So it just depends how aggressive and competitive you want to be. So.
And we've talked about like that from getting blog engagement. If you get that blog out there, make sure that you're posting it on social media so that can get some traction in the early days. It is about that kind of audition period that really, really does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So release.
You said you had a pro tip too, Chris.
Say that again.
I thought you said you had a pro tip too. Was it
no, the pro tip was you.
Yeah.
Like, make sure
I
that you
didn't know
have
that. I
you
didn't know
in the
that.
beginning of the video. And of course, I stole that from Dan Golden. So, and he's a
Well,
pro.
no, I mean, I think you're sharing the wealth of information, and I have to listen to the podcast to get some of these great tips as well. Apparently,
So,
even
so yeah, we did a good interview podcast with him a while back, and then I reached out to him because we were doing some question survey something, and reached out to him as a YouTube expert to just provide some guidance. So we've got 2 podcasts that have him mentioned in it.
no, awesome, very good.
Very cool. Well, that's our content. We're going to ask if you enjoyed some of our content, and hopefully you did. We're going to ask you to do something simple. Go ahead and share it with 3 people, maybe some content marketing officers, not content marketing, chief marketing officers. I'm just thinking content right now. Chief marketing officers, directors of marketing, people out there that can really get some value out of this information. We do.
Brand. Yeah.
Say that again.
Anybody that's building a brand, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people right now are starting YouTube channels. They're becoming influencers. I know with everything with COVID, certain industry jobs are drying up. There's a lot of people that are starting out, looking at the internet as a source of income. I know that there's a lot of people with Robinhood as well as trading, which is quite dangerous because the one thing I've always said, right, Chris, is this is people that I coach and people that work for us, but really there's I believe there's 2 big taps, okay, of economic output, right? And one is driven by the stock market, and the closer you are to that tap, the more benefit that you're going to receive. And the game of the stock market is well defined, right? And unless you're, I have a friend that actually wrote an algorithm. He does like machine learning and stuff, but he wrote an algorithm over the summer when oil was down, and then sold it to Goldman Sachs, and then wrote a better algorithm like a couple months later. If you're not that person, because I'm definitely not, stock market's something you want to stay away from because, in my opinion, there's really professionals in it. Now, there are some different algorithms out there of trading that still do work that a lot of people follow, but you're really. It's really risky, in my opinion. The other big tap, economic tap, that's really transformed everything. I think maybe the third one's going to be when they legalize marijuana, because I think that they're going to do that here shortly. And I've seen that really kind of transform the tax base. But the internet, right? So the rise of the internet and the growth that the internet has and the wealth that it's created, the richest people in the world are the technocrats of the big social media giants. And so the internet is a place that is still not the Wild West as much as it was, but it's only about 20 something years old. It's still a teen. Well, it's not a teenager. I guess it's a what would you call somebody?
20-something-er?
Yeah, 20 something year old. So I mean, really. It's quite young. It's not mature. It's not as mature as it will be. I think that cryptocurrency and blockchain, I guess, technology's starting to transform it too. But really, if you're looking at opportunity-wise, something and people gravitate to the stock market or they gravitate to the internet, I think that the internet is still untapped to a degree. And I think that understanding how not just technology, but the internet and all the Internet of Things work is really going to be advantageous for you as the future continues to come at us at a quite rapid pace, And so,
and I think this has a parallel with what you're saying. There's a guy by the name of T. Harv Eker, wrote the Millionaire Mind. He built a company called Peak Potentials and then sold it. And one of the things that he said, and actually I was fortunate to hear him speak once. He said that he never met a broke marketing genius, right? And so if you're talking about internet and internet marketing, and you become highly skilled in that environment, then you won't be broke. Like
Chris,
I have that confidence.
So what would you say the best skill to learn is? Like when you label it from internet marketing? I have an opinion. I don't think any opinion is necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear from you what you think the most important skill that someone needs to have is.
So I'm going to share a skill, and then I'm going to backtrack off of it for a very specific reason. And you may even you may know what I'm going to share. I think that the process of building a funnel that you can pay traffic to go into and that actually generates positive ROI in terms of sales, whatever those sales are, whether they're seminars or videos or digital assets, or actual physical assets. In the case of one of my companies, a supplement. That's an incredibly powerful tool. Now, I'm also coming at it from a very unique position because I have EWR Digital taking care of the SEO of that same company, for which I'm saying the funnel is the most important thing. So I think if I didn't have EWR and we're doing such a phenomenal job for my business, My Vital C, from an SEO perspective, then my opinion might be different. But I'm kind of jaded.
Well, so I mean, really, building a funnel though is multiple vertical, like multiple skill sets. So like when you're building a funnel, so I mean, here's the thing too, it's constantly changing. Like ClickFunnels has not been updated in 4 years. The load time's quite slow. We were building a lot of funnels. We built a number of people's businesses in ClickFunnels for them, but they don't load as fast anymore. You can't amp the pages. So we've actually moved away from that, but you gotta know how to build the builder. You gotta understand what the different upsells, downsells are. You gotta understand copywriting. You gotta understand video creation. Like, I mean, like I can go on and on.
You got to understand buying, the media buying, in order to get the traffic into it.
The media buying, the SEO. I mean, so when you talk about a funnel, you're talking about all these different skill sets coming together. And really, when we're building stuff for you, there's not. I mean, really, the strategists like have a broader picture, but it's taking a bunch of different specialists to put that together. So once you learn how to do that, you're kind of a master of a lot of different skill sets, and absolutely, I think that's the that's the what is it, the Shangri-La, or what is the word?
Shangri-La. Yeah.
But basically of what you're trying to do, I would say if you segmented it out from funnel building or really anything else.
Let me just, before you give yours, let me just say, so basically what you said is my answer doesn't count. And I don't take any offense to this, because my answer says everything. Like, because funnels require every skill that an internet marketer could probably have in their pocket, it's not really fair to say funnel. And that makes sense. Like, I get it, because I think absolutely it is not one skill to build a funnel. Like, you get into
if that's the end goal and you can make a funnel work, you've mastered a lot of different skill sets, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And really the interesting thing is, looking at heat mapping and that sort of thing of like user experience. You could take a funnel and duplicate it, because that was one of the things I liked about ClickFunnels. You could duplicate it for another industry. You could change a bunch of stuff. And then people are people and they act very similarly, but sometimes they act very different, right? And like if it's the same funnel but a different offer, it could fall flat. Like, and there's a lot of like testing and things that you have to do, and technical skills that you have to make a funnel work. Like, and depending on what you build it with. So I do think it's really hard. I mean, I would say out of all that, right? The thing that applies to funnel building and anything else, in my opinion, starts going back to like, okay, digital marketing. It's still marketing. And what's the most important thing out of marketing is copywriting. And I believe that copywriting is absolutely the most important skill that someone would need to have, because copywriting, you plug into anything. You plug into the email drips of the funnel, or the text message drips of the funnel, or the ad writing, or the copy on the landing page, or the long form sales letter, or what is written in the video, or the offer. Like everything, I think, goes back to words and copywriting. And if you master copywriting, you can apply that to any skill. I mean, I've read, like, for any of those who know me, like, I've read a ton of Dan Kennedy books. I've read a number of the other greats. I mean, Dan Kennedy was like billing, I think, $2,000 an hour, like on average, for copywriting, and he commanded huge fees. And all he really did was, well, he understood how it all fit together, but he understood the copywriting component, and that created like a mail out asset, because he was a big mailer, that could work and produce over and over and over again. And mainly what it was, storytelling and copywriting. So I think that, in my opinion, is the most important skill that you need to have. And I think having a foundation of that, I've been able to apply it to everything else that we do. So
yeah. Well, I can see that if you're thinking about a funnel, and let's talk about a funnel that includes a video. You've got the content that's on the page that's housing the video, the script that the video follows, and you've got the ads that are driving the traffic into both of those components. And then
the email marketing, remarketing, all the follow up, right? And then, the offers, like, I mean, everything comes back to copywriting, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. And some of the follow-up isn't even about follow-up. It's about, how do I maximize the sell of this particular client? Like, how do I upsell them? So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
We just covered 9 tips for your YouTube SEO strategy. We appreciate you. We've asked you to share it with 3 people by going to ewrdigital.com/G+. Leave that 5-star review out there. And this has been a great podcast. You got a sneak peek into the valuable skill sets. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burrows.
My name is Matt Bertram.
Bye-bye for now.